Big news here at Rivals.com as Jimbo Fisher has been let go from Texas A&M. Gorney, this has been sort of expected for a little while, based on the results on the field. Obviously, a big buyout is due there. But first of all, let's just talk about the move here and why you think it was the right move.
Yeah, I definitely think it was time because Texas A&M was stuck in mediocrity really since he had gotten there, and it wasn't recruiting. He had recruited very well to College Station. He had recruited 5 stars, and you saw it starting to really develop along the defensive front. Teams could not run against them, but they had really no offensive firepower. They couldn't get anything going, whether that was Jimbo calling plays and then his refusal sort of to give up play calling. And then bringing in Bobby Petrino really didn't change anything in terms of the numbers. It didn't provide a spark. They had some bad luck at quarterback, but really they just were not very good on offense. And then the defense could only hold up for so long. But again, he's being paid just a preposterous buyout. The buffoonery and the desperation to allow that to happen is going to charge the school probably around 150 million when you talk about assistance as well. So that is going to be something that tells you that the people, the decision makers at the school, and those decision makers are the people that are paying the buyout, had just had enough of this. Pounding on Mississippi State on Saturday night was not enough. You lose at Ole Miss in a bad way. You lose to Tennessee. You lose to Alabama. Miami kind of does whatever it wants to against you. This program was going nowhere, and they were paying Jimbo Fisher a lot of money to have it stay in mediocrity.
Yeah, just an unbelievable amount of money we're talking about there. But let's talk about recruiting and the news just broke this morning. But what have you heard from recruits and how this will impact things going forward?
Yeah, the funny thing is that no one was necessarily completely shocked by this. I don't think anyone is like, "Wow, I didn't see this coming." And the troubling part about it was that even this year, Texas A&M has been recruiting very, very well. I mean, year in and year out, they were landing 5 stars. They were landing playmakers: Evan Stewart, Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart. A lot of 5 stars up and down the line. This year, they have the 9th best recruiting class in the country, even though, again, they're struggling and just look average on the field. So I think the two main ones to watch right now are Cam Coleman, the 4-star receiver who, hint, hint, we're having rankings in a few weeks, and he had a very big season and will be under 5-star consideration. Is being pursued heavily by Auburn, which is about an hour down the road, and finished in 2nd place in his recruitment, along with he was at Florida State over the weekend, and Terry Bussey, who's being really worked on by LSU, Oklahoma, and others. I think those are the 2 bigger ones. There are definitely others to watch, though, up and down the line, who have built relationships not only with Jimbo, who like him a lot, but with a lot of the position coaches that will no longer be there. So like in every coaching change, especially some of the marquee names in college football, there's going to be a lot of turnover here. But the word is that Texas A&M wants to move fast. They have a name or an idea of how they want to go with this. We'll see if that takes place over the next few weeks. But with signing day just a little over a month away, they're going to have to put somebody in there to save this class and then move on from there into 2025.
Well, that leads into the next question. Where do they go from here? I mean, obviously, money is not an issue. It's a very attractive position, especially given the talent that they do have already on the team. So what are you hearing in terms of names being thrown around as the next possible coach?
Yeah, and you're always hesitant with this because coaching hot boards are sort of almost like, a disguise as to who they really want and who they're really going after sometimes. And the names that leak are sometimes a little curious. But I think at the top of the board is Oregon coach Dan Lanning. It was a launching off point for Mario Cristobal to go to Miami. There were connections there. Dan Lanning doesn't have necessarily huge connections to Texas A&M, but he does to the South, to the Southeast. He coached at Georgia. And this is at least an attractive enough job to consider. Now, Oregon has all the facilities and resources in the world. Phil Knight can put anybody under the table when it comes to money. But this is the SEC, and it is a marquee job with a lot of money to throw around. So Dan Lanning is definitely a name to watch. Mike Elko at Duke is one to watch. We'll see. I think that is probably a second-rate option right now. Jeff Brom at Louisville has been mentioned. Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator at Georgia, has been mentioned. He was trying to be lured by the Philadelphia Eagles this past offseason, and he turned down that job to stay at Georgia. Is an SEC job too big to start with? We'll see. Lanning had to go to Oregon. He has had tremendous success there. I think that's target number one. I think another name to watch, and people might want to laugh, is Lane Kiffin. I don't think he's absolutely thrilled to be at Ole Miss. That has been the rumor. He had wanted the Auburn job. Texas A&M is a huge job with a lot more money that could be thrown at him, and he's done, quite honestly, a phenomenal job this season with the Rebels. So I think those are some names to watch, but always in coaching searches, there will be new ones thrown around as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch and interesting to see what all shakes out here. Well, we'll remind everybody, go to rivals.com. We'll have all the information surrounding this story, and you can follow Gorney there on social media. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.